Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Live, and I am a former toxic girl.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
I'm Dee Dee, and I am a recovering toxaholic.
Hi, Dee. Hi, Dee Dee.
Hey, guys.
And I'm Aisha Thalia, and I am also working on being a better person every day.
Hi, Aisha.
Hello, Clarice.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that again, even though I just did. And this is Toxic Anonymous. We are a support group for those that may have lived toxic lifestyles in their past life or were victims of them and no longer want to live that way. So we provide treatment plans and solutions for your newfound life. Mm-hmm. Welcome. And today we are here to talk about a bit of a more somber topic in light of the most recent news. Are we going straight into that, or are we gonna?
No, let's go straight into it. I just want to know, as an educator, this really is close to me, because I just want to know, like, there's a lot of toxic play when it comes to guns in general, and we're not talking about just gun violence, because it's a Second Amendment right, and there's a lot of people who protect that right in the responsible and healthy way. Right. I feel like a lot of people argue, like, if there's ever a coup d'etat, you don't ever want the government to be more powerful than the people. That's understandably so. But right now, we see that people literally get guns in their hands and evolve to a different person. And what's worse than a toxic person with a gun?
Right.
So my question is, are guns toxic? Like, is there any way for guns to not be toxic? Like, what is it that we need to do as a society? Because this is like one of those continuous conversations that go in circles.
Right. So, I mean, just because people that are tuning in might not know exactly what was going on. I mean, by the time that the episode is released, I'm sure everyone has heard. But here we are yet again with another school shooting, this time in Nashville. I don't think it's really important to get into the details of who did it or whatever. The point is that another one has occurred. And to answer your question, I don't think that guns are toxic. I think that the people that are behind them are toxic. So it's like, and that's always the argument, that guns don't kill people, people do. Okay, so since we know that people are always killing people, then why are we ammoing them with guns? Why is there no regulation behind that? And, I mean, it's the most simple thing to be able to grasp, as far as we clearly need some kind of change. We need some kind of regulation, because what we're doing now is not working. It's getting worse.
And our laws are actually changing for the worse in the state of Florida.
So let's get into that.
It's sad. I think my perspective on the matter is that nothing is going to change, because businesses right now are more powerful than the government. And I say that because I think people like lobbyists, people that are in charge of funding someone's campaign, are always going to have a say. And the NRA makes a lot of money, and the NRA is going to do everything to protect that. And when they're the ones backing people's campaigns, and then those representatives are, forced to just align their voting with, siding with NRA and siding with what they want to say, the constitutional rights, there's nothing that's going to stop that. Right now in Florida, the House just passed the constitutional carry, and that's that you won't have to have a background check. You won't have to have a permit to be able to have a concealed weapon. And that's like the wild, wild west.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
It's wild.
I mean, I have my gun license, and I feel like I was bullied to get it. I was bullied into getting it because I am not somebody who wants to have to take a life. But now I'm realizing that I'm living in a country where that is something that if you don't have it, you're a sitting duck. So I got my gun license, and it was quite a process, to be able to learn how to use it properly and safely. So I feel like if we're just going to bypass that, we already have people that are irresponsible, and now we're just like, here,
forget
take
irresponsibility. There's people who literally, not even just violent, there's people who have mental illness.
Yeah.
And if you don't even know that you have an issue, there's so many people who are problematic who don't even know that they're problematic and toxic and don't even know that they're toxic. And then you add another toxic element like a weapon that's only meant to destroy.
Yeah.
And that's the sole purpose of this weapon,
I just don't feel like our founding fathers were thinking of AR-15s when they were thinking of,
right.
Clearly
and that's
not.
the thing. It's like, all right, I'm not a gun fan. I'm not a fan of that at all, but I can respect someone else's choice to be a gun owner and to protect their family, and that there are people that just feel differently about that. But I don't think there's any reason why anybody should have to have an automatic weapon, automatic rifle.
Right.
They, like the muskets that our forefathers, whatever, had, they shot 2 to 3 rounds a minute.
Yeah.
These are weapons that shoot 45 rounds a minute. Like, that's unfathomable. That's not something that people were thinking of being a reality. I don't think back when they were like, everybody should be able to have a gun, like whatever their little weapon was, to reload it, to do all that. It's gunpowder. Yeah, it's like a whole different thing now. So nobody should have to have magazines of hundreds and thousands of bullets at their house, unless you're like, I don't know. It just,
the reason why it was like that was because we had to possibly go against the military because it was like civil wars.
And listen, people still believe that we may have to do that one day. There are good groups of people, and I'm not very pro-government myself, so I get it. I get why people don't have faith in an institution that lies to you. I get why people need to defend themselves, but I am not for the fact that people should have automatic, because what's happening is, look at the UK. The UK had one school shooting in 1993, 1996, where 16 kids were killed. And they've had zero since, because they enacted stricter gun laws. Yeah. They've had zero. Now, we're talking about a smaller place for sure. It's just demographic. It's just smaller. But other first world countries have been able to curtail this. They've been able to get grips on it. We have had over 400 school shootings since Columbine, which was in 1999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just so silly to me, because literally every single argument in favor of the guns it's silly, and it's it's like, okay, deflection, because they either say, oh, well, car accidents is killing more people. Okay, well, actually, in school school shootings,
now.
it's actually surpassed. So now that's number one. But I remember I actually did a YouTube video where I did like a podcast by myself. And I went down the list of the common arguments in favor of guns, and, literally went down and was like, none of it makes sense. There's literally not one good argument that is telling me as to, one, why we can't at least figure out what kind of guns can be acceptable. I'm not saying you got to take everybody's guns. Okay, cool. If you feel like you got to go, Captain America against the government one day, then sure, you could have your gun, but you're not going to win that battle anyways, unless you're John Wick.
Right.
But neither here nor there. The American ego is something else. It's either that deflection, or it's like they say, guns don't kill people. It's humans that kill people, but humans be killing people. So
in this society, all the time,
the guns can't kill by themselves independently of a human.
I just think that people get done what they want to get done. They align their interests, and then they get it done. For example, Tennessee just banned the performing of drag queens. They were able to get that done. I believe that's something that they got done. Tennessee is where this school shooting just happened, and drag queens aren't the ones that are killing.
Slope.
Yeah, the drag queens aren't the ones that are killing the children, but we know that our children are dying. We know that they're dying more than anything else because of guns, but we're refusing to do anything about the problem because guns make people too much money, and that's the end of the story.
It's so
funny. And drag queens make the children gay, so we gotta nip that in the bud. That's more important.
Right. I mean, I think there's just nothing but big distraction tactics. I'm not saying that you should feel however you feel on all those topics are fine, but you want to look at the numbers and you want to see what's actually harming our children,
Right.
then we'll see that it's guns.
Exactly.
And, period, point blank guns. And whether it's the people behind the guns, it doesn't matter. Guns are killing the children. And if we really want to say that we care about our children, then we'll make sure that they're safe in school. We'll make sure that they're safe in church. We'll make sure that they're safe on the playgrounds.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that they're safe, period. And if you want to just say, I want to protect my guns, just go ahead and add, and I don't care that I'm not protecting children.
And your own children at that, because that you're not safe, you're not exempt because you have a gun, because your child doesn't have a gun when they're at school.
And
but then they'll say, but let's give the teachers guns.
They want teachers to have guns. It's disgusting.
No, instead they're saying, oh, look, there's a portable classroom that's bulletproof. Have you guys seen that?
I saw that.
It's like a thing where you can just pop up and everybody can go hide behind it. So we're going to do everything except ban the thing that's killing the kids.
Right. And what if the kid that has the gun is in the bulletproof?
We got kids that are shooting teachers. Again, could be negligent parents. It could be negligent laws. It doesn't matter. The guns are getting into the wrong hands and our kids are dying. So now what?
The guns are getting into the wrong hands and our society has become so cold.
Yeah. Desensitized.
We're shutting people out. Right. It's being reported again. This is all very new. This is today, but that this was a transgender woman. And I'm a firm believer that when you start shutting people out, making people feel excluded, people get angry, people don't know how to cope, people are still trying to figure themselves out, and then when you add something like guns into that, it just becomes a toxic shitstorm
I can agree with that.
Continues to grow and grow, and then other innocent people are affected. These were little babies, 9-year-olds,
I can agree with that. I think though the slippery slope with that is that white males in general are usually the ones that are committing the mass murders and the shootings. And then if we're not even going to talk about white, we'll just say males in general. And we're talking about a population of entitled humans that on average wouldn't have the issues that you would think the more disenfranchised populations would have. And they're the ones also committing these things too. So whether it's internalized things, anger issues, entitlement, the feeling of I'm just going to get everybody back. It's all wrong. Like it's all wrong. And it's this poison that's permeating society of I'm going to do whatever I feel to, get back at people. Now imagine Florida, and I think Texas has the same thing. Florida is going to turn into a place where how are abused women supposed to sleep at night knowing that their abuser can just go out and get a gun with no background check?
That's the last thing that they care about.
It's going to be, they don't care.
It's like, they do not give a crap.
What are these families going to do now that they know that this person who has a history of disturbed behavior or a record or a felony record or whatever can just walk in and purchase a gun? Like
honestly, if it's not children that makes them start changing rules,
nothing will.
I don't know. Maybe animals will.
Nothing will.
Because they want to protect children in the womb, but they won't protect the children
once they're here,
who are alive and here.
Right.
So
it's sickening.
It's I just really hope that there is some type of change that's made. I hope that our lawmakers aren't bought out by the NRA and
Don't
other.
Hold your breath.
Yeah, they are. They already are.
It's like I literally get goosebumps thinking about it because, we're in the classrooms and I do active shooter drill at least once a month. Sometimes we have them twice. Whenever we have one of these happen, we have another practice drill because there's a lot of Mickey Mouses who get inspired by that.
Wow.
So I'm sure, like we come to school and the kids want to talk about it and then we're instructed, don't talk about it. And that I think is toxic as a teacher because now I have my babies telling me, hey, what's going on? And this is an opportunity to talk about kindness and to talk about
it's a teachable moment for sure.
It is a teachable moment. And we are directly instructed as educators across the board. This is not from school to school basis. Don't discuss it.
You guys can't say gay. You guys can't talk about Ruby Bridges. You can't talk about critical race theory. You can't talk about anything.
Harry Potter books
but you can do drills. I mean, imagine it. They
Yeah.
just said another person, and not even off topic, but just how crazy it is that these things can happen, and we're instructed not to talk about it. But they just pulled the Ruby Bridges movie from some district in Florida because a parent complained. Because if parents complain about stuff, because we can't talk about Jim Crow.
Yeah.
We can't talk about any of these things, but we can still make sure that people get their guns so that they can walk up in these schools and they can murder children. So
yeah. And we can't talk about the feelings that are the catalysts to people wanting to walk into schools and murder.
Yeah,
you know,
what do you think that's going to breed?
we're breeding a society of angry, suppressed people,
who feel like hopeless.
Yeah,
because she or he, if you I think she wants to be identified as a woman, even though she was born or assigned as a male. But she didn't try to live through that situation. Her plan was to die.
Well, whether they wanted to die or not, I think what it comes down to also, I'm seeing a lot of, talk that now that's going to become an issue as well. But like we were talking about before the show started, I don't want to hear nothing about trans anybody and why that's a problem for a school shooting, because at the end of the day, if we want to go on gender, we're going to talk about the fact that it's mostly men that are committing these. And there's only been, out of the history of mass shootings, I don't know about including school, but out of 141 mass shootings, maybe outside of schools, only 6 of those included women. 6. So, and out of those 6, 2 of those women were working with men. So let's just say 4.
Oh my God.
There have been 4 women in the history of mass shootings in the U.S. Because there was already 400, I think, school shootings. So it can't be that. But 4 women. So before I hear, because that's why women are so emotional and that's why they can't control themselves, and stop the noise, because it's men.
Yeah.
And if this was a woman, then this was a lone situation. It's very rare. There's outliers in every situation.
Yeah. I mean, this subject just making me so angry already, because it's like, here we are again. Let's switch gears to something that makes me more angry.
Oh shoot!
Let's continue to get angry.
Let's up the anger.
So I mean, we have
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors.
My sister has such a crush on him. She just told me that the other
we
day.
were all rooting for him.
I didn't think I never had a crush on him.
I didn't have a crush on him.
We didn't talk about a crush, girl. She said we were rooting for him.
We were rooting for him. Yeah. I mean, he was coming up, and
I just feel like this, okay? So this whole he said, she said situation, like, I don't know what the situation is, but what I do know is I feel like if he isn't guilty of what he's being accused of, why are you keeping company of someone that you feel like is, because he was like, she had an emotional mental breakdown. This is in her character, blah, blah, blah. She recanted everything. 30 minutes later, she was having an emotional meltdown.
Is he speaking for her, or did she recant?
I don't think we've heard from her yet.
We haven't heard from her.
We heard from his attorney saying about these things.
And they said that she recanted 30 minutes later. We don't know if she was paid off. We don't know if it really did happen. Allegedly, there's video evidence, as well as allegedly witnesses that are corroborating his story if he didn't do anything wrong. I don't know what that means. I
started laughing. It's so inappropriate. I'm so toxic to this thought. But
I don't know what it means, because
it's not.
I could see a kid deck someone and I'd be like, Dante, and he'll be like, what'd I do?
No.
So
okay. You know why I'm laughing? Because what you did is perfect, because it was what I was gonna do, is the toxic thing where we'd be like, well, you know how men will be quick to tell a woman who is abused? I mean, well, you picked him, you chose him. And you know what? Honestly, that's what I wanted to say at first. If that's the situation, and let's just say, right. No, let's just say, and let me preface this by saying this is wrong. It's a wrong thing to do, but it makes me smile a little on the inside if people would say to him, well, you chose this person, and they will. And you know what? Maybe, but I think more than likely they're going to just go hard on. Let's just say let's say she's lying, and I'm not to say that I believe that at all, but let's just say she's lying. If she's lying about what happened, everyone's going to go so hard on her. Oh, that's what women do. False reporting, by the way, is around 2 to 4%. So overall, that's not it's not a thing as much as people would like to make it out to be. Patriarchy would love for us to believe that women are just out here making things up about men. Don't know their situation, but overall, Do some women lie? Yes. Are most of them lying? No. So we do have to take precautions to believe women when they say something happened, because you got to clear everything first. You just that
And I'm interested to wonder how those numbers skew when it is a public figure.
exactly. But
Because
no,
it might
because
be
he's
2 to 4 overall,
Listen,
but when it
they're
becomes
gonna
to public
drag this
figures
lady.
and now it's like extortion or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like
they're
does
gonna
the numbers
drag her.
change?
I just want somebody to be like, I mean, but you picked her. No, it's gonna be, oh, she's horrible, she's this, she's that. But ultimately, you're right. It's wrong to say you pick, because if she's
When I say
if
you
she's
picked her,
lying-
I'm saying watch the company you keep, because I'm not going to be with someone with nothing to lose. And if I know that I'm that dude right now and he's that
Yeah.
dude,
No,
he's
everyone should
slated
watch
to
it.
make some major cash,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you know, easy come, easy go, when you on your high, somebody could take you down to your lowest low.
absolutely. Everyone
know?
should watch the company
It's
they
like
keep. But
with-
some people just
with-
don't know. Some people can snap, whether they're the ones that are.
With Samson, Delilah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I was like, wait, what?
why y'all laugh?
No, go ahead.
That's just the first thing I thought of.
That's a
you
church
know?
reference.
It is.
it is.
Okay. So basically, Samson was a biblical character who God told him never cut his hair. Delilah.
That was his
Oh.
power.
Mhm. So
That's the one I was putting up when I did that video about Rob with the bun, and somebody was like, men shouldn't have bun. Remember the pastor that was like, men shouldn't have no buns?
oh yeah, child.
Because hair is supposed, and then
right,
people were like,
right.
that's not true because Samson had hair
Right.
and the
that
hair was his power. Okay.
So long story
I
short,
be knowing.
yeah. So Delilah was a hoe, but when no, look, he knew Delilah was a hoe, but he still chose her anyways. And he done caught Delilah try to cut his hair a couple times.
Didi, you
But he's-
should definitely like narrate.
What do you like?
Bible-
It's like,
like
it's like
like
the hood
Audible?
recap of the Bible.
yeah.
So what
I grew
happened
up in the
was-
church. My daddy was a pastor, so I'm just breaking it down in
Love
simplest
to hear it
parts.
in your.
So
your
basically,
perspective,
Samson
your
should have
words.
kept better company.
He should have. He
And
knew,
so-
and he still chose her. And then she ended up tying him down, and she set him up, and they cut his hair, and
Oh.
then he was weak and got captured.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I don't know
So-
if that's the situation, though. I don't know if that's the situation. I feel like I hope.
Is
I
this
hope
another case of Samson and
for
Delilah?
his sake that he didn't do that, and I hope. But again, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I hear
Same.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Because-
interested to know how you feel about them pulling all of his endorsements, those 2 big army ads. Normally it's innocent until proven guilty, and they weren't.
Gotta go. Conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
That's what they
Where there's
do.
smoke,
When
there's
you work,
fire.
it's the thing is they say innocent until proven guilty. Mean they're not going to send your black ass to jail.
Right.
They didn't say that you're not going to lose things that you've been working for.
I agree.
So that's at the end of the day, your business
Be
is
cautious.
you are a reflection of your
Exactly.
business.
I
And if
agree.
they feel that you're not meeting their standards, then they can choose to cut ties. Now that doesn't mean your ass going to go to jail. It just means that you are going to have to sit there and live with the consequences until you're cleared. Is
Right.
it always fair? Maybe in 2 to 40% of the chances that it's a false accusation, then no, it's not. But in like the 95% chance that something went down.
Err on the side of
Now I
caution.
will say
You don't
this.
have, you don't have room to.
I will
make a
say
mistake
this.
like that.
I will say this. If somebody gets caught lying, I do believe there should be absolute jail time, repercussions, fines for a woman or a man who lies about physical abuse
Absolutely.
on the other person.
Yeah.
I 1000% think that would cut down on, and I'm talking about with video evidence. I'm not talking about
yeah.
you just feel
said,
like
she
they might
said.
have lied, because that
Right.
gets very, very messy, because we
tricky.
know that a lot of abuse, like rape, do not leave any, especially when people are too scared to report for a day or two. There will be no physical signs. Even
Right.
strangulation doesn't even usually leave any signs at all. And you can still have internal damage. So
Right.
I'm not talking about people being like, well, there was no, I mean, if there's a video and we end up seeing a video
Right.
that shows that this person lied, well, then she needs to suffer the consequences, because she
agree.
messed up and potentially messed up his whole life. That
Yeah.
being said, I still need to wait and I need to see the video.
Right.
So
Same.
I don't feel bad about anything that they took from him, and maybe let it set a precedent about the next person who thought about strangling somebody, even if he didn't do it.
And
Yeah,
maybe
I mean, you have to be cautious, and I feel like that's smart of the army. I mean,
Hey,
The
but you know what's so
army, the least
hypocritical
thing
about
that
that? The army, where Fort Hood, where all these women are getting raped, people are getting killed.
That's a whole nother
I mean,
podcast episode.
the
right there, right?
hypocrisy to me of it being the army that decided to do something about it.
Yeah.
Where's the army? What are they doing about all the other instances of domestic abuse? They're being reported all the time
But
by
those
women.
are also regional
No, I get
incidents
it.
because it's not the army as a whole that, but sometimes
they should care.
these bases have corruption and they have people
Lots
that
of
are leading
corruption.
it, and there's things like that happen, but obviously not all of our military deals with that. But I think that that's the least that they could do. They could, let's table these advertisements until after we find out what
Right,
happened.
they didn't fire him. They just postponed it.
Yeah, no,
They
I agree
tabled
with
it.
that too.
I don't agree that you should fire somebody. I do feel like you should wait to see how it plays out.
Absolutely.
So that
Like
then
how
they
they
can
put
get
us
it
because
back.
back.
God
In the book
forbid
room.
they don't.
Right. Yeah, wait, Judy has a good point. So,
What is that?
oh my goodness. So we had this teacher at our school
Woo,
that
Chalet.
we knew as a fact she used to do some stuff to these kids. I'm not going to say any names.
What kind of stuff?
She was just abusive.
She
was
would roll them
abusive.
kids out like bowling balls.
Like it was like, and listen, I don't care who says
They would
this.
hide from her. They would crawl. They would
as
crawl under
teachers,
the tables.
teachers were mandated reporters, and I don't care if you like me. I don't care if I had to see you in the break room. I had to report her at one point because I was like something that I saw that had some. Look, I got to report you. She's been reported by so many people so many times, and it was actually all over the news. Oh, my boob's coming out, guys. It's my one boob. The other one's not there. It's the good boob. So all I know is she's been reported lots of times. Lots of times. And finally, it caught up with her. Finally,
No, she went to the book room more than
They put
once,
her in the
too,
book room.
and they put her
And
right
so-
back in the same school.
the book room, but then they actually fired her at one point. Like completely fired.
See, I was
And
gone by
she-
then.
Yeah, I was gone by then too, but
Bro, the
she-
teacher gossip right now is juicy.
but they fired her because of the accusations, and they had to do an investigation first because we have a
yeah.
union and everything. Like
Oh, right,
that.
yeah.
That first is just the book room. You got to go to book room. What do they do in the book room?
Nothing.
They sort books.
They don't. No. They literally go to sleep.
I too would like to
But
know
what-
what they do in the book room.
What else is in the book room?
There's
What is
nothing.
the book room?
It's literally, when you first got hired.
We had a teacher
and-
used to come to school drunk. They put his ass
They
in
had
the
to go
book
to the
room
book
too.
Yeah.
Again,
Oh, so the book room's like a turn-up party.
the
thing.
book
No,
room
it's
is
not like it's
it's
for
like you can't
degenerates.
you
Like,
can't
that
be
just
around
is-
the kids.
So you just have
And
to,
while the
That's a bad
investigation,
teacher
getting
room.
paid. Yeah, you're
That's
getting
lit.
paid.
Yeah.
Your same salary, but you have to still report somewhere because they don't want you to feel like you're on vacation. So you still have to show up physically.
yeah.
So,
So
do the
you're-
teachers look at it like detention when
Oh,
you were
absolutely.
a kid? Like
No,
going
that's
to
a-
detention
that-
was
if you
lit?
to go to the book room,
It's bad.
that's fucked up.
No, you
People
don't
don't
like
want to
going to
hire
the book
you after that. You don't want to go. To
You
the
don't
book
want
room.
that
So
on
it's
your
on your
record.
record.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's on your record.
Oh, I thought it was.
But
just
And then
like for
any
the
other
day.
allegations that you got, they'd be like, they've been to the book room twice.
Right. Well, the one dude.
I ain't never been to the book room,
This
y'all.
needs to be a reality
we
show.
were teacher of
The
the
book
year.
room.
The
at-
teachers in the book room.
Exactly.
We were
It
teacher
could
of
be
the
called
year.
bad teachers.
Yeah, no, literally.
Someone's
the,
gonna steal
the
our
bottom
idea.
line is you have to table people until you figure out if it's true or not.
Yeah,
We can't
absolutely.
afford to have people in positions of
No.
power, people in positions of influence that are out there causing havoc. And listen. And then what happens? The same with that football player that had all these accusations, and then they still went ahead and hired him and gave him all those millions of dollars. I don't know his
Well,
name.
that's because his was just sexual misconduct, but it was consensual, and all of them signed NDAs.
Not all of them.
Every last
Oh,
one.
Oh,
you
y'all
of
talking
them
about
signed
Deshaun
N-
Watson?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's
with the
not
Gatorade
true. No,
towels,
Deshaun.
the massage.
No, the massage guy.
Yeah.
No, they said they were like he was pulling his pecker out and like they
No,
did
they
not.
all signed
They
NDAs.
signed NDAs, but not because they knew that he was gonna be whipping out his cock.
Yeah, a lot of
He
people
didn't
signed
whip it out.
Yes, he
They-
did. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. It was 100%
Some
fact.
girls
couple
said
But
that
they
he
were
was
all coming
masturbating.
back.
Well, I don't know if everybody
Hey,
came
the money
back.
was good, but that don't mean that it's right.
Right. I mean,
But I mean, you can't complain. Well,
Yes,
I'm
you
not
can.
saying
Yes, you can.
but
yes, you can. And see, that's how people do. That man is a menace.
No,
he was
I
a
know
menace.
he's a menace. But my point
Bro.
is, and I agree that he's a menace, but for the women who
He
consented,
was even forcing them to touch
and-
it. He even forced the one
but
girl
the,
to touch
the
it.
thing is,
Don't you know the
there were
like
only
okay,
three
so
girls who.
Nah, man, I'm not.
No.
looking up.
No,
Nah,
there were
man.
there was mad
There were
in
several
every
women,
city.
but I'm saying,
he had hoes in different area codes. Not calling those
but
women
they were
hoes,
they
but
were continuing to come back.
There were
Well, why do
24
you
women.
think?
Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's like R.
24
Kelly.
women.
No,
Oh,
all
all
them
them
women,
women.
and they all had the same testimony.
I
about
don't
the
even
little
have 24
towel.
friends. Like, that's
Listen.
wild.
24.
They all had the
man-
same testimony.
that
They
man
all
was
signed the
comfortable
same
whipping his
NDA, and they
cock out in
all
front of
kept
24
coming
people.
back though.
I don't know about all of them, but
Okay,
I do
but-
know that I think wasn't there one or two that were like, after that they were done. But then when they came out, when they saw that other people were all talking, I don't think that they were all coming back. But you know
Listen,
what? It
at
doesn't
the end of
matter.
the
Even
day-
if they were.
At the end of the day, sometimes, and this is why they say, be very careful what you agree to when you're hungry, because
Yeah.
people in desperate positions, it's like being under
Yeah,
the
you preying
influence.
on them. It's like when those men
Yeah,
go to BR.
it's like
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein. You know, when people are in desperate positions, they say yes to things that they wouldn't necessarily say yes to if they were not. It's kind of like being under the influence, and it's under
I
the
know
influence
some
of
men
money.
that's
It's
gay
not
for
under
pay.
the influence of alcohol or whatever. Yeah, then you got gay for pay.
Yeah.
You got women that are having families and they
Can't stand the man.
No, they can't raise their kids, so they go, what would you do if your son was at home
Crying all alone in the
bedroom floor
Cause he hungry.
and the
Only way to feed him is to sleep with some
You
man
feel me?
for a little bit of money.
Right. You
I
listen
feel
to
like
City Guy,
Arno's
come
gonna
on.
have to put like a little thing in here that's gonna like fix
Look,
what you just
auto-tunes.
said, because I don't think that all of them had NDAs. So I could be wrong, but we're gonna fix that. We're
I
gonna have a
don't
little
know.
edit that's gonna be like, at the time of this filming, Dee Dee was not aware that.
But at the same time, you might sign an NDA because you take on a job.
Yeah, a lot
And
of people sign
they-
NDAs to
they
work
don't
for
want
as a
you
chef.
to say, yeah, exactly.
You sign it because of privacy.
You're
Because
not
the person's
signing
a
it because
celebrity.
that means
you're
you
not
wanna-
like, oh, I'm about to pull my dick out on you,
Yeah.
girls, to sign this. Like, no, you sign an NDA because you're
I can't
pretty
give a
much.
massage.
I
didn't sign up for
gotta,
this.
But
I don't remember. It's been a while, but
Either way,
I
like, I'm
remember-
glad that people were upset with him at first, but I just don't know why. Even without, didn't it happen that even without the pending investigation, they still paid him before it was
no,
even
for-
up?
Oh yeah, and he's still playing.
He's not only did
he's
they
a damn
still
good
pay
football
him,
player.
another team picked him up, and they knew that another team would still pick him up, which is why they paid him, because the NFL knew what was going to happen with that.
Man, listen, that
It's
man's
just funny
a whole
how they
sicko.
pick and choose like what they decide to like go hard on, like the whole
Yeah.
Michael Vick thing. It's crazy to me what they decide to go hard on. And don't get me wrong, I am an animal person till
Right.
I die. Don't believe in animal abuse. Think people deserve what they get, but it's just funny that they pick and choose what they decide to really punish. And I really do feel just like the situation with the old boy. What is his name again? Jonathan
Jonathan
Majors, yeah.
We have to wait and see. Like, we'll have
We
to
gotta
wait
and see. So let's
gotta
do
see it through, my boy.
our meme edition of Toxic Not Toxic. So go ahead and you start it off.
Okay, yeah, because I did not want the girls to know
We'll
these
go
memes before I
meme
picked
for
them.
meme.
Yeah. This is
A
like
meme versus.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A versus. All right, so you want me to go first and then you go?
No, you
Damn,
go.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't put mine in order of like the best memes. So,
All right, I'll go
I hope
first.
go
everybody keeps
first.
falling out. Sorry. Every time I look
Ven-
down, I'm
Venmo
like,
me $10 and I'll
City.
Photoshop your boss rioting at the Capitol.
I love that.
That's wild.
I wish we could have done that to our
see?
old boss.
Listen.
I would have laughed, but you already read it before the show. You see how that works?
Okay, go ahead. Go.
Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, me. It's the first date. I'm a beautiful, respectful woman. I won't even kiss him. Other me. Shave your vagina just in case.
That's not
Toxic or not toxic?
No, that's
I
not
think that's
toxic.
prepared. That's preparation.
Preparation meets opportunity. Right?
You know
Stop.
what? I will say that if you don't shave your vagina or whatever you do to your vagina before a date, that will probably make you hold out a little longer. Because
Right, 'cause
you
don't want
know.
the first time.
Do
If it's
you
what you
think
care.
that men care
No, but
No,
you
about
care.
their hair?
You care.
If you're the type to care, like I am usually like my friends
If
laugh
you
at
do
me because
care-
I don't even like
if you
I don't
do
even
care,
like my legs are hairy. Like, and I'm talking about I would shave every day, even with laser hair removal. I was still like, oh, I see like a little spot. Like I'm that obsessive with body hair.
I
So
feel like it would
am
deter a lot of women.
I absolutely would not sleep with anybody. I don't care how much I like them.
Maybe
Maybe I
she
just
don't
know
care.
smart men, because I know men that'll convince you not to care. Like, look, Rob is fine. Rob couldn't convince you not to care.
Not when we first. Not you talking about a date? Did you say like? What date?
I'm
now
not,
it's like when
a
you're married.
First
It's like
date. It didn't say first date. It just said,
I mean,
dang,
getting
now that
into
you're
her
married,
business.
now he get hairy coochie.
nah, my coochie never hairy. just let's just throw that out there. That's
First of all,
laser
there
hair
ain't nothing wrong
removal.
with some hair.
Y'all see my little
Rob,
bikinis?
I feel like
I couldn't have no hair down there.
Rob,
I feel like there's
Rob
like
ain't-
an audience for that, you know? There's like-
No, not that that's bad.
It's a
I've seen the
preference
little
thing.
strips that are cute. As
the
long as
runway
it's,
strip.
but
I
I'm
remember
talking about
Amber
if you had
Rose
a
came
whole
out with that
bush.
picture with the whole bush. That
Some
it
people
looked
like
cute.
that. Look, there's a
thought it
whole
looked good.
fetish. I'm sure there's OnlyFans models that are making bank
I
for
think
having
old
bush.
men
yeah.
like that, like the
No,
our
there's probably
daddies
some young
era.
kinky ones too.
I don't think young men.
I
like
bet you any
hair.
money. We're
Because
gonna do a
young
poll.
men
It depends
don't
on
even
how
have
the hair
on
falls, you know,
themselves.
like
Oh, if they got like taco meat hair, if they got like
yeah,
smooth
like
hair.
if it's like a fro, I think that might, you know, you could shape it right.
Mhm.
But if it's like
if it's 4C, what about 4C? What about 4C
no, but
pubes?
4C, as long as it's like, you know, you could pick it out. And
Arno, what do you think
shape it a
about
little
hairy
bit.
vagina?
Really? No, thank you.
Our producer says no, thank you. So.
Really, Arno?
I feel like a bald eagle is
I
childish.
think Arno lying.
You know what? A lot of people do. They feel like
That's childish.
that's me.
older
though.
men, your
I love it.
generation loved hair.
I just don't like the feeling of
wasn't
hair,
even no haze-
but I do
no-
feel
no
like
hair.
it
Like a
is very
landing strip is-
prepubescent.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
If you're gonna go down,
Nobody wants
Uh-huh.
to eat hair.
you don't want to eat hair.
it's still attached. It's
Even-
not pulling out of
even
your
men-
mouth. What
That's
are
why
you
you
doing?
get. That's why you get your bikini
Even men
line so
shave
that,
it all
like-
off at times just to be
As
right.
they should.
And that's like
no,
that.
still men gotta shave, but women
no,
don't
no,
have
and
to.
that's like that
You
cat,
see?
that Sphinx cat.
oh, the hairless cat.
Because
That's what that is.
men, I feel
I don't
like,
know. I think mine looks
you know
really
when
good
the
with no
saying
hair.
hot as balls, they balls be sweating like balls.
So you think like Kristen thinks like a little landing strip is appropriate?
I think so. Yeah,
I don't
like a
want to feel
little
no hair
something
on
so that
me.
you
I
know
don't want
I'm
hair
not-
on
I'm
my
like
arms.
you,
I don't
I'm
want hair on my
naked.
legs.
Yeah.
I don't like naked.
All right. Starting a date again. So if you see me out with different people, let me know which one I look better with.
That's cute.
Wait, say it again.
That's how it should
My
be.
attention span is bad. Say it again.
Starting a date again. So if you see me out with different people, let me know which one I look better with.
That's cute.
Toxic or not?
It's not toxic. It might be superficial in terms of like being like, oh, that's a person you look better with. It should be whoever you
I
like.
think
but
she's
I think
messy because why is she going to the same places to be
Well,
seen
she
by
didn't
the
say
same
she's
people?
going to
She
the
didn't
same
say it's
places.
the
It's
same
Miami.
place, right.
We could go to 5 different places and you'd be like, she was with a different man.
Right, 'cause
Is that
we
Diddy over there? Wait.
And Dee Dee sees everything. Too.
Diddy's gonna go to all the hot spots though. That's the problem. You need to be like me and to where all the low key spots were.
Girl, I
Right,
got a
you gotta go-
story
you
You gotta go to
lot
like
of
a little
girls.
hip hop lounge in the cut with like beat up sofas and like drinks that they send you in plastic cups. You be going to the,
Y'all
like, the
need
nice
to give me a
spots.
list of side
Yeah.
chick lounges and shit.
Not side chick.
Why
low
would you
key.
think that we would have that list?
We don't have the side chick, but we do know where to go with like the low
Low-key
key
lounges.
spots.
I cheated because I thought you was cheating. My bad. Let's start over.
Damn,
babe.
it was my turn.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Toxic or not?
That's toxic.
That's definitely. I saw that meme too, and I was gonna.
If somebody
screenshot
cheated,
it.
just leave.
your go. You can do
I
too.
definitely was gonna screenshot that meme because I was like, "That's toxic." Okay. Her. We grown. If you just want to smash, say that. Him. I just want to smash. Her. Blocked.
Right. And I love that. I love telling men to tell me the truth. And
And then punish them
And
for
Tell
it.
me the
It's
truth.
not
I
punishing
promise
them,
I won't
it's
get
just-
mad.
right.
You do be trying to sneak the truth out of people.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
just
be
go
like,
ahead, tell me. That's so natural. It's so normal.
Hey,
Tell me.
Tell me.
No, I don't like you no more. Thanks for
Blocked.
telling me.
I live for that. Like,
I think I've done
you don't
that a
think my
lot.
friend is pretty? Like, I mean, like,
Right. She's gorgeous, right?
Okay.
You'd be like,
blocked.
do my best friend have a fat ass? Yeah, that shit is fat. Oh, for real? You were staring at it?
Pervert. You disgust me.
All right, y'all ready
the
for
40-year-old
this one?
virgin where he's like, would you rather Pamela Anderson or Carmen Electra?
Yo,
but
we
they
need
both
to
have a
start
yeast
doing
infection.
what you
Damn.
rather.
You're
Yeah,
just
I remember that.
disgusting.
Ew.
Okay,
All
I
right.
feel like we should just.
This is the
we should-
last one.
All right.
All right. Okay, so boom. Long story short, I always want some head.
It's not
What's toxic about that?
That's not toxic.
No.
That's normal.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. I like the okay, boom.
relatable.
Okay, boom. Okay, so boom.
Okay, so
All right,
boom.
well then.
All right,
what?
so that is it. I guess most. Oh, I mean, we didn't take a count. We haven't really got organized in that section yet, but I just feel like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
provocative.
It gets the people going.
Right. It's
provocative.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you subscribe, like, share our podcast. And
if you guys want any marketing opportunities, please let us know. Email us at toxicsanonymous@gmail.com. Podcast at
Toxics Anonymous
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen, y'all.
All right. It is on the screen. Signing off. Meeting adjourned.